It's a new year and a new character release. Time to get back on track with some wins. What's poppin' everyone? It's your boy Levi, and Theodore has been released. He's a sniper user that uses tools to buff his teammates but still do tons of damage. As always, we're going to be trying to get a win with him in 20 games or less, and if not, I'll have to do a punishment. Game 1, and like always, I only have knowledge of this character from the trailer. I slapped on an amp build that has decent amp and some attack speed and jumped into it. This build's pretty quick when you don't forget a flower like me, and you can build decent food along the way. I wanted to end in beach so I could take the bears and get a feel for Theodore's kit. Q is a straight line blast that can be charged for more damage. It also heals teammates. W is a scream that sends a blast forward when hit by your Q. It also augments your E and basic attack. E is a grenade that rolls out for damage. It's a very quick projectile, and if you Q or basic attack, you root your opponent. And the ultimate is a huge blast of damage that speeds up teammates and attack speed of Theodore. Theo's passive allows him to go stealth and gain a shield while exiting bushes. It also converts any bonus health he has into attack speed. After taking the bears, I wanted to TP into a battle zone, but the timer had already blocked out the battle zone location and I wasn't able to. I had to settle on Hotel for Alpha, and I learned very quickly just how much damage this character does. Another Theodore opened the fight with EQR and did around 70% of my health. I got away thankfully and returned the combo back onto him, just doing slightly less. We end up in a sniper standoff, but I wasn't quick enough and I go down for it. Game 2, and I wanted a little bit more CDR for my build, so I decided on Tachyon boots to hit the CDR cap. I lost Omni Siphon on my boot slot, so I went Uchiwa for my accessory. I know the rule for these new characters is tree is always free, but Theodore needs a moonstone upgrade for his sniper, so that was my priority. My two options were to contest Night 1 Meteorite or try and win a battle zone. Hotel ended up being free, so I picked up a Meteorite and I struggled to find a rifle in Forest. I looked forever and wasn't able to find one. My plan was to get one in Forest and get a laser pointer in Uptown, and then try my luck at the battle zone. I just barely made it in time. Theodore definitely isn't much of a solos character. Your big damage comes from reflecting your Q on your screen. I think most good players will be able to react to it though. He's not really great at committing to a fight, and you kind of just have to poke people down until you get into a point where you can all in. I was actually winning this trade against this Adri because I was able to outrange her. I know, how many times do you hear that? Adri getting outranged? But kind of trolled it when it came to the commitment. I stood in her entire queue, and I burned down much quicker than I was expecting. I lost the battle zone, but I was able to farm beach. Without a team to help heal people off of you, your only really option when someone gets onto you is to E for the root and then ult immediately for the movement speed. Otherwise, you just get run down. I managed to get away from this Fiora, and I called in a Meteorite for Kamana. I did have to build it from scratch, so I hung around Forest, Hotel, and Beach, and retook my Hotel Wolves when they came back up. If there's one quality of life change I'd like to see for Theodore, it's being able to W while you're charging your Q. I think that would make it a lot easier to hit his reflect, and he wouldn't be too overpowered with it. I got a tree off one of the Wolves and went to Avenue for Glacial Shoot. And since I was already here, I might as well contest Wick, right? Oddly enough, if you can keep Irem at range, she's probably pretty good matchup for Theodore. She mostly wants to attack in a straight line, so it's easy to poke her. And when she commits, you just stand in front of your own screen and hit her with a blast. Cat down, and I'm ready for Wick. Unfortunately though, Piolo is a completely different story, and once he's on you, it's pretty impossible to get him off. So I go down third. Game 3, and I once again finished my build and go for a Meteorite. I was much faster this time, so I head into Uptown. There's hella people here. We had Theodore War featuring a Nathapon, and the first Theodore goes down to a collection of all our damage. I hug the wall, which allows me to not get hit by the other Theo's ult, and probably keeps me alive from getting third party by the Nathapon. After some poke, I get the Nathapon low enough, but I don't get to finish him for the kill. I try the third party in Isaac, who's now fighting another Theodore, but I don't get my laser off in time. He kind of greeds for the back-to-back fight against me, and to be honest, if he didn't mistime his Tonfa skill, he probably kills me there too. A different Theodore from all of this then sneaks in and grabs the Meteorite, but I see him on cams heading towards the battle zone. Instead of third partying for the kill on Theodore, I wanted to take shots at the Estelle while she was chasing, because I knew I wouldn't be able to 1v1 her after the kill. She's a track star though, so she ends up getting the kill and getting away. Unfortunately, I don't have much chance against her, and she kills me too. I respawn in Uptown and take the hunt. I don't really know what's to do other than farm with this character. He's too susceptible to dive to really contest objectives in battle zones, and he can't really force people to fight him until he catches them in a bad spot with their mobility spell down. It's kind of just the farm game for solo modes until Wick spawns and then show up there. Once again, I'm final 3, but an unfortunate TP of the 6 kill Jackie ends up on my head, and it has me going down third. I realize I don't have enough amp in my build to get solid damage down, so I decided to go Cardinal Robes and Motor Helm over Covert and Crown. I kept Tachyons for the CDR and traded in my Uchiwa for Veritas. I lose Omni Siphon, but I hoped for the heal active on Veritas would be enough. I also switched my Penny Pincher augment to Thea for the increased night vision. I showed up to Factory Night 1 for the Meteorite and took the hunts. Thankfully, I was able to find a rifle much faster than I did the previous game. I upgraded the Golden Ray and headed to School Battle Zone. There's a weird visual glitch as I'm spectating. You can see it there as a third-party elite island. For some reason, when a character gets displaced by CC, they start sliding. I end up between Shoichi and Fiora and go down. I respawned in dock to take the hunts, and please don't perceive me here. I killed one of the bots, which I normally don't do, but I really needed food. The bot didn't end up having any food on them, just green items, so that was unfortunate. Heading into chapel for the blue chest, I fight a Fiora, and I actually play it pretty decent. I learned that Theodore's one win condition when a melee gets onto you is the stealth from bushes. You get a shield on it too, and it helps when your opponent misses their parry. Shoichi's gotta be one of the most impossible fights for Theodore once he gets in range to W. I was hesitant about contesting this meteorite, but thankfully everyone got tired of getting poked down, and I was able to grab it for free. Once again, I used it for Cabana and called in a tree to make glacial shoes. I opted into not contesting with this game and decided to take the hunts and spend some credit. A Theodore tried to call in a meteorite in my hospital zone, and I took him down for this and claimed his item as my reward. Final zone was going to be Chapel, and I TP right onto Chloe. She was mid-hunt goal, so she didn't really have anything to chase me with. I didn't have any great matchups left. Chloe and Hayes were both ranged, and Lead Island had Wick. This is kind of sad, but I trolled this a little bit. I got the third-party angle on Chloe and Hayes and pushed them out of the zone. All I had to do was preserve my timer, and I at least would have had a chance at fighting Lead Island. She didn't give me the honorable fight though, and just walked into my zone, the timer scanned me, and I get second. Another game, another meteorite, and another golden ray. This was game number 18, and I was getting desperate to find a win. An Aya bot looked at me funny, so I gunned her down in the middle of the street. The irony. I needed every mastery I could get, so I killed her and took the hunts, and then TP'd into temple. And this is so unfortunate, man. Laura just barely lives my attacks, and if I thought she would have lived my basic attack, I would have just ulted it immediately. I unfortunately don't get her, and I die to hate. I respawned on Alpha because I'm doing my desperate get every objective maneuver, and I try to get revenge on the Haze, who somehow managed to not get the win in that battle zone. She also gets away, barely surviving. That's 2 kills I should have had, and I lose control of Alpha chasing her. I TP in the factory and run into Chapel Red for another meteorite, and you know the story by now. It's for Cabana. TPing in the Uptown for Omega, and more Eternal Return weirdness happens. I don't know what's going on here, but Cicella's tether seems to be stuck on someone across the map. It didn't look like this at all in game, this is just in spectator mode. I tried closing and reopening the spectate game and re-recording it, but it still happened every single time. It's just a weird visual bug. Unfortunately, once Cicella pulls me too, it causes me to slide for the rest of the game. So I'll just give you the highlights of what happened, so you don't have to watch this weird shit. I show up to Wick, contest the Yuki, who does it in my face, gets the buff, but I get the item. A lot of equivalent exchange and all that. I make Necronomicon, and I fight a Luke, who E-hops away from my combo. I don't really chase him well, but he ends up in school and I run into him again, so we have to run back. I even get the W reflect damage on him, but I missed the kill by like 1 basic attack. Alright, it's time. The build I'm going for is a randomized amp build starting in the laboratory? Okay, you're probably wondering what's going on here. Well, I did 20 games, and I didn't get any wins, unfortunately. However, I was queuing Cobalt for the Slumber Party mission, and I ended up getting Theodore. And since Theodore is a team modes character anyway, I'm gonna count this game. And playing this game, my opinion of Theodore has changed quite a bit. Cobalt has some tight corridors which make reflecting undodgeable, and being able to play behind your front line and get some guaranteed transitions makes this character pretty scary. Because of how long and how wide the ultimate is, I think Theodore works really well with melee bruisers and long range marksmen. Buffing their movement speed is such a good engage tool. Buffing movement speed for the melee bruisers allows them to stick onto the enemy backline really well, and giving movement speed to your own backline helps them peel away. Mages don't really benefit too much from this, but I'm sure they can still be good. Mages don't really benefit too much from this because they have a lot of self-heal anyways, but I'm sure they can still be good with them. If you have like a Bianca running in at Mach 5 with an ultimate up, it's a pretty good combo. The ult's also a pretty good indicator for your team to be like, hey, we're going in right now. and run this direction. Hopefully I'll be able to experiment a little bit more with it in team mode, but I think out of the 20 solos games I played, Cobalt was the most fun I've had with him. Thank you so much for watching if you made it to this point. I'm putting a 1 in the win column for Theodore, but an asterisk next to it for a compromise. Not the start I was hoping for the year, but not the worst case scenario either. At least I won't have to do a punishment. I have access to the community tab now, and I don't know if you saw my first post over there, but I'm going to be using it as a way of making updates. There also may or may not be some NP codes over there if you haven't gotten the battle pass yet. Nudge nudge. Like the video and comment on the video if you're enjoying season 8 of Eternal Return, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Be sure to click the video in the end card to see how my REM punishment